I'm feeling a second coffee. A lot of people are interested in the way that I drink coffee at home because I drink a ton of coffee and I go to a lot of cafes. And I love going to cafes, but it just gets a little bit too cumbersome at times to go to cafes. It also gets quite expensive on the wallet. So I do recommend making coffee at home because it does save you a lot of money since a latte is like $8 now. But this is how I do it. So the number one thing I tell everyone that wants to get like started into coffee making is that the best part about making your own coffee is that you get to choose your blend every single time you decide to drink a cup of coffee. So this is the blend I'm going to be going with for today. It is called Sidamo Guji Ragora Red Honey. It's an Ethiopian, so it's an Ethiopian coffee. I don't think it's single origin. It says it's from Sidamo Guji Raj. This was roasted on November 14th, so a couple months ago, but still pretty good. I kept it airtight in an airtight bag in a cooled environment in the closet in the dark, so it should still taste very good. It's a red honey process. I have no idea what that means. It's a heirloom variety. I have no idea what this means, but generally if you see a lot of very specific information on your coffee bag, that means that these people know what they're doing. They also have tasting notes. It's supposed to taste like red wine, white grape, ripe cherry, raspberry, honey, and black tea. On the back it gives you a little message. Yeah, happiness, cup of bliss. And it's been really good so far. I only have a couple beans left. I'll probably drink all of them today. But I'm going to be doing some drip coffee. I'll just do a V60. So I'll get my water boiling. I'll show you guys the rest of the process. So this is what I'm going to be using to brew the coffee in. So this is called a V60. And it's this cone-shaped device where you're supposed to put your paper filters in. And then you put it on top of the mug, or in this case, my container that I'll be using. So this is a V60. These are definitely essentials. You definitely need a scale so that you can measure your coffee in and coffee out. This is really important to the ratio of water to coffee that you're using. You really want this. This is like the number one determining factor if your coffee tastes too watered down or too strong. You really don't want either of those sides in any extreme. So you can use scales to kind of measure your food. And this is the cone of choice. You may have heard of it before. All you need to do is grab a V60 paper, which I will grab right now. Like a big pack of these will only run you a couple dollars. So just gonna grab a paper. It looks a little bit like this little cone thing. And then what you want to do is that you want to like take the cone and just kind of unfold it. The V60, and you have your V60 almost ready to go. Once the water is boiling, you want to give the paper a rinse out so you don't get any of that like papery taste. You also want to heat up your device so that the coffee stays as warm as long as possible. And like the container or the unit as a system is overall heated up so that the coffee, when the water goes into the coffee is warm and able to absorb the water a little bit better, and therefore give you a better tasting cup of coffee via more extraction. Truth be told, I am no coffee expert, but I do drink a lot of coffee, and therefore I'm gonna say it makes me an expert. But all of this is very good. Learned a lot of this actually from another YouTuber named James Hoffman. I could watch that guy's videos for hours. He talks about coffee with pure love and passion. So that's where I got a lot of my coffee info from. But you want to make sure that you have a decent grinder. You don't need like the greatest thing, but this is what I use for like brewed coffees. This ran me probably like, I don't know, $100. It's called an OXO coffee grinder. Yeah, like Target or something for $100. But I think this is good enough for me, to be honest. The quality of your grinder does really impact the quality of your coffee. And you always want to try to use fresh coffee beans if possible, and that the beans are grinded fresh as well. That releases like a lot of the aroma of the coffee like instantly. And if you buy like pre-ground beans and you try to make coffee with that, they do taste like stale, less lively. It's like eating stale chips. You know what I mean? When you open the bag, you leave the bag out for too long. It's like eating stale chips. You don't want to eat stale chips. No one wants to eat stale chips. So you want to grind your coffee fresh if you can. Now, all of this is incredibly exuberant. It can get insanely complicated and crazy and stuff like that, but I just want to make a simple cup of brewed coffee just real quick. So I'm gonna weigh out 15 grams of beans. I'm gonna grind up 50 grams of beans, and yeah, I'll just do that right now, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. It smells crazy, by the way. It smells like coffee fruit. I mean, coffee is a fruit, but it's so fruity. It's like so fruity, really, honestly. So now I'm just gonna grind it up. And we have delicious ground coffee. Smells so good. So next thing we want to do is that we want to make sure that our thing is like wet, and then we'll dump out the excess water. When you're doing coffee in general, I have like heard that like different temperatures have different effects on your brewing and stuff like that, but I generally just use boiling water, mainly because it's just easy across the board. Everything's boiling. You don't really want to change temperature as like the first thing you change when you're trying to achieve a better cup of coffee. I heard that things like grind size are far more important, fresh coffee beans, the coffee that you're drinking, the amount of water ratio you're putting into your coffee. Those things are way more important than like brew temperature. So I always just brew boiling as like a general rule, and one of the last things I'll typically change is like temperature of the water. I also feel like temperature is like, it should generally be boiling. I got that from James as well. So if you want to fact check me, just go on his channel or do a quick Google search. I'm sure everyone has like different opinions for different coffees, but it's like food, you know? It's like, how do you like your food cooked? Usually you use a hot pan, right? So you don't cook it in like lukewarm pans. So that's kind of where I'm going at with this. Okay, so the water is now boiling. We're gonna give the paper a little rinse. Very nice. Now I'm gonna just give this a little dump out into the sink. So now that the paper is like wet and such, let's get our coffee in. So we're looking at a 15, I think, to 1 ratio. Where for 15 grams of coffee, I'll just put the rest in. Alright, so, 17 grams. I'm sure that varies a little bit. It doesn't make too much of an impact. We're just putting a little bit more water. So for 17 grams of coffee, I think we put like 250 to 270 grams of water. Let's make a little bed. We're gonna bloom the coffee first to kind of release all the gas inside the coffee. So we'll just do a little bit of water in. And from there, we'll give it a little swirl. Make sure all the coffee is like a little pre-wetted. It's like you're giving it a little bit of like a massage. You're giving it a little massage before the game, you know what I mean? Make sure it's athletic. It can perform all the functions of a high-tier coffee athlete. And once you give it a couple seconds, it's dripping out, then you would put in the rest of your water essentially. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. Making sure that we get all of the coffee that we can. We'll do about 200 to 250 to like 270 grams of total water. And that should be good. I'm just gonna give it a little another shake. Make sure all the coffee's getting hit. And you're gonna have a wonderful cup of coffee at the end of it. There we go. And now, I have a beautiful cup of coffee just for me. And it's a pretty relatively small cup like you would get at cafes. But, smells good. felt like I had to do that. But yeah, sometimes I see people like go to a cafe, they just look onto the windows, just drink their cup of coffee. Yeah, my girlfriend's dad does that. I think it's pretty cute. Maybe I will become an Asian father. I think I will continue to clean. I don't really want to show all of it because it's just annoying. You're trying to like record yourself and do something productive at the same time, which is just frankly impossible. It's like what's that saying? It's like you're trying to always don't try and half-ass two things, just whole-ass one thing. So I'm trying to whole-ass one thing, and I'm gonna try and clean up my space a little bit more. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me for today. This is what happens when I run out of ideas, but yeah, have a good one, guys. I see you guys in the next video. Peace out.